Welcome back to this episode about therapy, couples in therapy. I have been receiving so many questions about how can I persuade my partner to go to couples therapy? What about if he doesn't want to go or she doesn't want to go to therapy with me? Can I still go? Um, when is the right time? How do I know that I need couples therapy? Well, let's discuss today. In this episode, you are going to learn when is a good time, how to choose the right therapist, how long to stay in therapy, and what are the best practices while you are in therapy. So you can really invest properly with knowledge. Okay? I am Carmen Roman. I am a clinical psychologist and I have almost 30 years working with families, with couples, and with individuals. So stay with me because we are going to unpack this topic. When is time? When is the right time to go to therapy? Well, if you are communicating less and less with your partner, I will not say less communication, but different communication, useless communication. Yeah, it doesn't give you this happiness, this sense of peace. So if the communication is more silent or you have a lot of conflicts, you fight quite frequently, this is the time to consider somebody else to help you to sit together and almost sometimes to translate what you want to say to your partner. Yeah. So communication problems, you don't need to solve it with just by yourselves. And sometimes we really can benefit from a number of sessions when somebody really translate that I have been saying for a long time, and then the therapist say it and my partner say, wow, yeah, I get it. See, your sex life has diminished in quality or maybe never had the quality. This is the time to address that topic in your couples therapy. Don't be shy. Don't be naive thinking that your sexual life improved by itself. If it hasn't improved over the years and it hasn't improved because you lack communication skills, it's not going to improve. So it's time to ask for help. Um, if the couple has problems because one of you has problems with the other side of the family or your own side of the family, maybe the couple is okay, but you don't manage to communicate well with the in-laws or the very near friends of your partner or vice versa, or some of your family members are causing trouble in your relationship. Time to seek a third opinion. And remember, if your partner doesn't want to go to therapy, you always have the opportunity to go yourself and to start growing yourself. Yeah. Lack of communication or difficult communication around money. If you have money issues, if your partner spends more than it should, or you spend more than it should, or don't want to spend anything, yeah. So difficulties with money is really a good point to bring to therapy. So you may be thinking, I thought couples therapy was for somebody who is really at the edge. No, no. Actually, if you have the plan to jump into the next level of commitment in your relationship, like you just got engaged, or you are planning your wedding, or you are buying a house together, or you are doing a huge investment together, or you are doing this 2 months trip to overseas together, this is the time to take time to reflect on what you are doing. Why? Because when we go to therapy, the therapist can ask all these uncomfortable questions. Yeah. Also, sometimes I work with couples when one of them got a diagnosis, a terminal ill diagnosis. Why? Because the person who is terminally ill is going to need all of the support, but still they have issues in the couple, yeah, that can become worse. And two, because the person who is in the supporting role will have very hard time and will need somebody to talk, to rely on. So they can go to therapy together and figure out how they are going to be in this next life phase. Yeah. Or maybe you have a challenging time in parenting. Maybe you differ so much in your views about parenting, and it's time to have to find the middle ground. That's another one. And also, I have couples when they were separated, they they got married by living separately in different countries, and now they come together and now they don't know what to do. Yeah, because they were having fun when they travel and they see each other for a week or two, and then they live together now, even though they married 3 years ago or something, and they need to figure out how to work with it. When there's an immigration issue in the middle, like I need to apply for a petition, I need to petition my partner, I need to do a psychological evaluation. One, we do psychological evaluations as well, and then you look for couples therapy. It's a separate service, yeah, and better if it's a separate therapist. Even though I do both, I try to separate those services for my clients. Um, when you lost a family member, it could be that you, as a couple, lost a child, somebody very nearby, or one of you lost a friend or a parent or some kind of sadness or grief that is going to impact the relationship. That's another good time to just to check with couple sessions how you are doing and how you can do better and how you can support better your partner in these transitions. Yeah, or how you can support each other, because many couples sometimes they lose a baby, they don't talk, they keep feelings of feeling guilty or resentment or something, or they lose a child and they don't talk, and then the marriage or the relationship start falling apart slowly, so slowly that they notice years later. When you, speaking about resentment or angry, when one of you feel resentful or angry toward the other, it's good time to talk to a therapist as well. Yeah. When one of you suffers sexual abuse, if one of you have history of sexual abuse, it's important to talk in a couples therapy. The person needs to take their own therapy, yeah, but also in the couples therapy, they can put together the pieces. They can work in their sexuality, they can work again in their communication, and especially the partner can ask all of these difficult questions, because sometimes when I ask the story and the person starts telling the story, the other person didn't hear that or didn't hear the questions that I have to ask. And then they have a different perspective of the problem, and better, they have a better perspective or what they can do to help and what they don't need to do, definitely. Yeah. When you get constantly annoyed by what your partner does, that's a good one. Definitely it's good thing if you go to therapy yourself and if you go to couples therapy. I know I keep sending you to therapy yourself. Well, listen to this. When you go to couples therapy, the therapist will consider the relationship as an entity itself. At least this is my approach. I am working for the relationship. like if it's a living entity, like a plant that needs to be watered. Yeah. So I work for the relationship to thrive, to survive. This means polishing some aspects of you. But I will not have time to work in one aspect of the person, of one of the persons in the couple. And probably it's not even appropriate to talk about some issues in front of the partner. Or it's not needed because we don't need the other partner for you to your personal growth. So this is why it's very recommended to go both of you separate to your own sessions to talk to whatever you want to talk. Something very interesting in couples therapy is I don't keep secrets. I don't meet separately with the partners unless it's a special circumstances, and if I am going to meet with one, I need to do the same time with the other one. But this is very special and rare circumstance. I don't meet before or after. You don't have the expectation that I am going to tell the therapist this secret, and then the therapist can hold it and then give us therapy, but I am going to ask the therapist not to tell my partner. Doesn't work that way, because at least I'm not keeping secrets. If you want to say something, you say it in the relationship and we manage it. If you don't want to say something, you go in your therapy, individual therapy, you work on it, and then decide what to bring to couples therapy, because it's not fair that I have secrets that the other person doesn't know, if that makes sense to you. It's not because I'm mean, it's because we want to level the ground for both of you, yeah, in the couples therapy. This is why the couples therapist is going to be different than your personal therapist, yeah. And if one of you decide not to come to therapy ever again, couples therapy, you can give your permission for the other to keep working with the same therapist, but that's only when you decided that you are not going to be. Also, while your life is changing, sometimes we need to make space for children. Like you are a couple and now you are entering parenthood. Yes, but it's going to bring challenges. So it's time to talk about couples. The couples space, the communication, the expectations, all of these arguments that couples get into when they are going to be parents. And then, years later, when you are going to go into the empty nest. Why? Because maybe you grew apart. Maybe you were communicating differently. Maybe you were focusing on being parents. Now that the children are going to college and you are going to be by yourself, we want to be sure that you know who your partner is. We want to make sure that the relationship is healthy so you can enjoy life now. And interestingly, I have especially the one of the parents that is more attached to the children, they lose their sense of purpose, their sense of life. So they have very hard time, an existential crisis, if you will, when the children go to college. So the other partner needs to be aware of that and needs to know how to help. Yeah. Okay. Now, how to choose the right therapist? Huh. Okay. First, time to do a parenthesis here. And this is because I want to tell you that we have a 10 days course on anxiety. And in these 10 days, please do one session at a time. It's meant to be for 10 days. We have more than 1,800 people with 4.9 or 4 point whatever stars and very good comments. I am sure you will like it and you will enjoy it, and it's very practical. It's step by step and very practical. So be sure to get into the link. And also subscribe to the newsletter because we are launching a course on how to impulse your inner power. Isn't that fun? In February 2022. So we are launching first in Spanish. So if you speak Spanish and you are interested in impulsing your inner power and work with us intensively for 9 weeks, get to the newsletter in Spanish, because we are going to share pieces of information until the course is ready to go. By the way, if you are here in YouTube, please subscribe. Subscribe because you help us to keep spreading the word about mental health. So if you subscribe, if you tell your friends, like all of this, please help. Now let's come back to the topic. How to choose the right therapist. It is very important that both of you participate in the process of selecting your therapist. Don't you find the therapist yourself and do the appointment and drag the other person in therapy, which happens quite often, actually. Don't do that. And I always advise, don't pay for therapy unless you are the one earning way more money in the relationship, and this is how it goes in your family. Unless you pay the rent and the bills and everything, don't you pay for therapy. This is a commitment. This is a process. So sit with your partner, talk to them, and say, can we get together and talk in front of somebody? Can you come with some ideas of to whom to go? And I am going to bring my ideas too. These are the links, those are the profiles, etc. Yeah. And then you discuss. And then you shop around for a therapist. You can call, you can visit the websites, you can get adjusted with how the therapist works, how the fees works, if they take insurance, if they don't take insurance, how this. Most insurances don't want to know about couples therapies. So they will pay your private session when you go your individual session, but they may not work with you for couples therapy. At least in Emotions in Harmony, we don't take any insurance, so we don't bill for any insurance couples. Yeah. So, places to look for a therapist is our website. You can go and see the services that we have for individual or for family or for couples therapists. Is emotionsinharmony.org. And the Psychology Today, you find our profiles there and many other profiles. I love Psychology Today because you can find by zip code and everything. It's always to have more than one option. Doesn't matter. Even if you already know, oh, I saw this video of Carmen and I like to be in therapy with Carmen, still gather information from 2-3 therapists, talk to your partner, and decide together. This is part of the respect of the process. Yeah. Okay. The American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy. There are licensed counselors, licensed marriage and family therapists, and licensed psychologists that can work with couples. And most of them will say in their website if they are able to do so. Not all the, it sounds weird, but not all of the marriage and family therapy work with families and marriages. They may work only with individuals, and or psychologists may work with individuals or with couples. So you can kind of look through their website. The American Association of Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists is another website, and any website that is reliable. Yeah. How long to stay in therapy? Plan for at least 3 months. It really doesn't do any good if you gave yourself an opportunity to try therapy and then you go 2-3 sessions and then you say, it didn't work for me. Well, if it didn't work for you because you didn't like the therapist, look for another therapist. Whatever reason. But don't give yourself less than 3 months in therapy. And if possible, with the same therapist. Why? Because it takes time for the therapist to get to know you, and it takes time for the couple to get comfy and start sharing more and more information. And no, it doesn't work if you get better in the relationship and then you leave therapy. Oh yeah, it's a little better. Now we can go on our own and solve it in our own. Why? Because it's natural. First of all, the first couple sessions of the therapy, it actually may get more complicated because you are opening topics that you didn't spoke before. And then it may actually get better because you are practicing new habits. Yeah. But you haven't settled in the new way of being. So this is why at least 3 months. So after 3 months, you are on your own. It's like training wheels. Yeah, we put the wheels in the bike, and now we remove the wheels, and now we are kind of know that you are on your own, and you can come for every 2 weeks or every month or for checking in from time to time or whatever. But give yourself minimum 3 months, and some couples may stay even a year or a little more because they have a lot to work on it. But listen, when you give yourself that time and that investment, you transform your relationship. You transform yourself around the relationship when you take individual therapy. So, of course, peace, happiness, enjoyment, fulfillment, all of these will be like plants, like growing in your relationship because you work for it, you did the space for it. It's not your therapist only, it's a teamwork. Yeah. Best practices. Best practices when you are in therapy. Arrive on time. I know. It's very simple and obvious, Carmen. Arrive on time. And because, especially in couples therapy, the therapist cannot start if it's only one of you. Okay? It's not like, oh, you can start with me because my husband or my wife or my partner will come in 10 minutes. No, they need to wait until both of you come in together to the room. So you are losing precious minutes. And normally therapy is 50 minutes, so arrive on time and use wisely your minutes. If it's possible and it's safe for you in the relationship, is not so much conflict or violence or something like that, I always suggest for the couple to drive together to and from the therapy. Why? Because those are the moments where you actually start enjoying together without being. It's like your date. Yeah. And I actually ask couples if they have small children or they have some other commitments to hire a nanny, get other commitments, cut other commitments, and go together for dinner or for lunch after the session, or for breakfast or whatever is after the session, because they will enjoy. Yeah. Also, if you open a sensitive topic in the therapy, get to enjoy during the week. You don't need to keep on and on and on about that topic. Let the therapist work next week. You put it there. Let the therapist work next week and you enjoy life. And consider that your partner is saying something sensitive because it's the way the therapist is asking. Otherwise, he or she may not come up with that. So they may not even remember what they say. So don't take it against them. This is a good practice. Just to let it go and bring the next session whatever it was bothering you. That's good. Um, Also, be truthful, genuine in therapy. If you pay the session and you waste your own time more than anybody else by not saying what is really important to you, it's not going to work for you, and it's not going to work in the long term in the relationship, and it's not going to work in therapy, and probably is a copy of what you do in your life. So you need to go there to break patterns, if that makes sense. Yeah. In summary, what you learn in this, we were talking about to know when it's time to go to therapy. Yeah. To choose the right therapist, to subscribe to the anxiety course. We mentioned that too. To subscribe to the newsletter. How long to stay in therapy and what are the best practices for therapy. I suggest that you look at the video Compassionate Negotiation. It's an interview with Kwame Christian. You are going to love it and learn a lot about how to be compassionate and be a better negotiator in your relationship. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Thank you for being part of the community of Emotions in Harmony. Never be hesitant to send an email to say hello. This is who I am. This is where I live. Something, yeah. Even though we are extremely busy receiving emails, I always enjoy getting to know from you. Bye for now.